Welcome back to ICTune. This is 6th week of the lesson. Last week I didn't feel very well, so we skipped Saturday, but I'm grateful that we can meet again on Saturday. So we're gonna learn some new things. I know that safer at home is extended, so you are staying at home more than what we expected, but hopefully we will be able to use this time to get better at drum and also to prepare ourselves to praise God. Okay, so let's begin this week's lesson by learning new stuff and reviewing what we've learned as well. So let's begin. We're gonna start off our lesson reviewing what we've learned first. We have learned few rhythms last week, which was 4-beat and 16-beat. Okay, so I'm going to show you 4-beat first. You're just playing 4 times and 1, 3, 2, 4. Also with the fill-in as well. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So rhythm itself is not too hard. You're just playing 4 times, bass on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4. And I said variation on bass drum is just on you. Whatever that you want to play and that it makes sense, and it's good to go. Okay, and then for the ad-lib, you don't have to play this ad-lib, but this is one that's most suitable in my thinking, in my thought, that to the 4 beats or rock, in other words. Okay, so it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. You're playing both hands with all the numbers, and end of 1, end of 2, end of 3, you're gonna play bass drum. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If I play in real time, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is rock, or 4 beats. And 16 beats, there were 2 types, right? First type was playing with 1 hand, and second type was playing with 2 hands. So if you play this, 1 hand, 1, 2, 3E and 4E and 1, 2, 3 and 4E and 1, 2. That was 1 hand type, and second type was playing with 2 hands, right? 1E and 2E and 3 and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3 and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3 and 4E and. So there was 2 types of 16-beat that we learned last week. Again, bass drum, you play whatever that you want to play as a variation, and just keep the 2 and 4 with your hands. So one difference was when you're playing 1-hand 16-beat, you're playing hi-hat and snare at the same time. But when you're playing 2-hand 16-beat, you are sacrificing hi-hat to make a snare sound because your hand is moving to play snare, right? There was just one difference between 1-handed and 2-handed. So that is a review of 4 beats and 16 beats. We're going to learn another rudiment today. This is called flam, F-L-A-M. Okay, so what this is, basically you are decorating a note with smaller notes beforehand. Okay, so when you're playing just hit, let's say you're playing rhythm, and then you just want to insert a hit as an fill-in. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do this, but to make it more interesting, because just hitting once is not interesting enough, apparently. So people want to make it more interesting, so they put some notes beforehand. But it's not distinguishable by itself. It's very small decorating note that people almost cannot hear. But it makes difference in sound. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, same rhythm. I'm going to just shorten the rhythm and then just show you the hit. Okay, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you see that? One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is flam. Basically, you're not playing once, you are inserting a smaller version of that hit right before your actual hit. So instead of just hitting once, you are going to hear the sound of taran, taran, taran. Again. This is flam. One thing that you have to make sure is that the hit beforehand, the smaller hit, should be really small. If it's just a little bit small, and let's say when your actual hit is coming from here, your smaller hit is coming from here, it doesn't have that big difference of sound. But the beforehand, it should be, the smaller one should be really small. It's almost tap. So that when you hit actual one, people will know, oh, this is the actual one. So even though it's there, it's almost undistinguishable. That's how you play. So when you practice this, when you practice flam, it should be same as single. You're just playing single from a lot of height, but before that, you are inserting small one with another hand. So instead of just playing one right hand, you are going to play small left hand, one right hand in time. So when you actually practice, it's going to be like this. And then change your hand. Again. Again. So when you play this later, you're going to be hear this too. Okay? There is one more thing which is called drag. You're dragging something basically. D-R-A-G. Difference between flam and drag, you're playing 2 times with the other hand. So instead of playing once, like flam, you're playing 2 times. Double. So, taradan, 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 taradan. Hope you can play double with the snare, but that's drag, okay? So, flam and drag is almost the same, and you can choose what to use. But it's basically, I would say it's a personal preference unless it's specified by a score or by a person who are telling you what to play. Okay? So it's your choice, but it's important to be able to play both of it. So when you need to play both of it, you'll be able to use it. Okay? So that was flam and drag, and this will be used a lot when you play drum set. Now we're going on for a new topic, and this is a variation of 8-beat. Okay, so what I mean by variation is that we were playing just usual beat that we know already. Okay, so even though we playing 8-bit, 8 beats, even though we play variation on bass, and even though we play something different with our hands, the basic rhythm, the structure of rhythm is the same. So 1, 3 on bass, 2 and 4 on snare, that's the same, okay? And to be honest, most of the genre or style or variation of 8-beat, it has the same thing. But by making different sounds on other drum parts, we are going to differentiate the sound. Okay, and that makes different genre, that makes different sound, that makes different style. So by knowing more styles than just usual 8 beats, we can make music much more tasteful than before. Okay, so even though we're playing 8 beat, what I mean by different types of 8 beats, you are going to keep playing 8 times with your right hand. It doesn't change, but how you change, where the point goes, where the loudest point in a measure, that's becoming different. Okay, so first different style is disco. Okay, so you keep playing 8 times, but this time bass plays for every number. So it's going to be not 1 and 3, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and snare is the same, 2, 4. One more added thing is your left foot. It's just your left hand stepping at the same time with your right foot. Okay, so if I say that these are my feet, your right feet and left feet, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 at the same time. But more important thing for your left foot is that rather than stepping on, when you take it off is important. Because you're playing 8 times with your right hand, it should sound like 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. If you're not stepping off at the right time, you cannot get this open hi-hat sound. And for disco, making it open hi-hat is the most important part, the most important thing of this rhythm. So when you play this rhythm, it's easy. If you don't care about hi-hat, it's going to be easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But you have to play slow so that you will know at what timing you are stepping off your left foot. It should be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Mine is muted, so it doesn't sound really like open hi-hat, but you see the point is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when you play, it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's disco. Okay, if you play fast, it's going to be like this. So open hi-hat is a really important point for disco. Okay, second style is country. Okay, it's going to be even more easier because you're just playing rock rhythm. Okay, so what was rock? 4-beat. But because it's a variation of 8-beat, you are going to play this into 8-beat. What does it mean that? It means that you're playing 2 times faster. So instead of playing 4 beats like this is rock, but if you're playing country, this is country. But do you see the difference between 4 beats and 8 beats? When I play 4 beats, it has louder snare because this is a characteristic of rock. Kung pa, that's a rock. But when you play country, you're just playing snare lightly because it's a part of the rhythm, not necessarily the accent. It's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So every number you're playing hi-hat and bass drum. Every random number you're playing hi-hat and snare drum. So these are the variation of 8 beats. This is it for today's class. I know that it could be a little hard and tricky to play, but this 5-stroke, if you've been practicing your double stroke, it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so that's why it's important to practice your basic skills because it's not only using for that skill, but it's also used for other things too. And as I said in the beginning, single and double stroke, it will be always used for drumming. So hopefully you'll be able to practice. Thank you for joining me today, and we'll meet again next week by next class. Okay, so hope you stay safe and healthy. I'm going to see you next week. Thank you.